Assalamu alaikum guys, how you doing? This is your boy Ayman Talib here. Everybody in this world's got their vice, and mine is movies. I love movies, I love everything about them. The bigger the movie, the better. If it's out in 3D, you bet I would love to watch it in 3D. If this movie's coming out in IMAX, I like to watch it in IMAX. That's just the way that I like to roll. Disney's been cranking out so many live action remakes of many of their classics, including my always top 3 Disney movies: Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. People always ask me what's your favorite Disney movie. It always comes down to those 3. I can never decide which one is my favorite. But with the live action ones, you know, Beauty and the Beast was phenomenal. I remember specifically tearing up 3 times, seeing these treasured memories, you know, being brought to the silver screen in live action. It just looked really, really good, and it was almost up there with the original cartoon. With Aladdin, I really like their live action take on it. I particularly appreciated Disney's take to right some of the wrongs, the way that they portrayed people from the Middle East, some of the controversial lines that were in the original cartoon, and they were replaced. Again, not as good as the original cartoon. I don't want to compare the two because it's, you know, it's a film in its own right, but it definitely was a very, very good film. Solid B+ for Aladdin. Which brings us to today, watching The Lion King in IMAX 3D. I'm personally very excited about this because Lion King is, you know, very treasured story. I'm very happy about the fact that Jon Favreau helmed this film. He proved himself. The live action remake of The Jungle Book, what he did with, you know, bringing the story of The Jungle Book to life and photorealistic and animation, they're bringing the same thing to The Lion King. And as far as the story goes, I've read online to hear different places that they do not veer at all from the original movie. One thing that I did appreciate about, you know, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, they did change up the storyline. They did change up some different things, so it gave you something to look forward to with the live action. So with Lion King, looks like we're not going to get that. That's the expectation that was set by the reviews that were already released. So we'll see. Very, very happy about that. They brought the one and only James Earl Jones to voice Mufasa. So looking forward to that. All the classical scenes from the original Lion King. Looking forward to see how they bring those moments to life. It's gonna start in just a few minutes, so pop on my 3D glasses here, and we're gonna go watch Lion King. Of course, you can't forget your movie snacks. You gotta have your movie snacks. Popcorn, sure, just not today. I like my icy, and I like my chicken tenders. Okay, just walked out of The Lion King in IMAX 3D. It was a visual feast. Basically, imagine the original Lion King and they got the crew of BBC documentary to film it. It looked as if they got real animals and they just moved their mouths. That's how realistic it looked. Definitely nostalgic. Spoiler alert, the fateful moment in the gorge when Mufasa dies. When I was 9 years old and watched the movie for the first time, those same feelings came back. There was a little bit more depth of character on Scar as to why he wants to be king, what is his goal, what's his end game, what does he want. That was good for character development. Really beyond that, there was not much more, you know, going off the original story and the original movie. One thing I was disappointed, spoiler alert, the number Be Prepared. I always got goosebumps listening to that song and watching it in the movie. And then with the live action, I was like, where's the song? It was basically, Scar basically said some lines from the song as a poem. A few lines here and there. And that was it. I'm like, really? That's it? The opening number, right from the beginning, it was almost a shot-for-shot recreation of the Circle of Life. Of course, it moved me when you saw Lion King and saw Circle of Life, you know, all those years ago. Those things are going to come back. A few years ago, I went and watched The Lion King on Broadway with my mom here in Dallas, and I really liked what they did with the expansion of the story, what they really did with Nala's character, the songs that they added to the Broadway, those were awesome. Those were really great. The song that Nala sings, the Shadowlands, Simba singing, basically having a stream of consciousness, telling his father, "You promised you'd be there whenever I needed you." The whole story arc of how Scar wanted a future. He wanted cubs, and he was interested in Nala to become his queen. I was hoping that would have been adapted into the live action. It was not. It was still good for what it was. As far as parental advisory, people of God conscious, there's nothing really to worry about except really just one thing. Spoiler alert. If you remember in the song Hakuna Matata, there was a funny part, and I got downhearted every time that someone cut him off and he said, "Bumba, hold on, not in front of the kids," right? Well, he said it in the movie. Just beware of that. Also, the violence that does happen from the cartoon, because it's live action, those scenes are more intense. So just be wary of that. But other than that, this is a very good family-friendly movie. I do recommend you go check it out, especially if you're a fan of the original Lion King, the Lion King Broadway. You definitely should round out your Lion King experience. Check out Jon Favreau's take on the Lion King. Now that Lion King, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast have all been remade for the live action, I'll put it Lion King third place, Aladdin second place, and Beauty and the Beast takes the cake for the live action remakes. For the original cartoons, still neck and neck between all three for first place. They'll always be good and warm and dear to my heart. Until next time, until the next movie, peace.